So let's talk about Hangover 2. I thought this movie was gonna be really good, and I'm not saying it wasn't good. I'm gonna say it was decent. It was fun to watch, but it wasn't as funny as the first one. It was still funny though. I'm not gonna say it wasn't funny, and I really did enjoy some of it, but I'm not gonna say that it was better than the first. Another thing is, I'm not the guy that's like, oh, the original's better because it's the original, man. It's the original. Yeah. No. It's just better. The first one's better because it's funnier. It has funnier scenes. The second one, they do crazier stuff, but it's just like the same formula, and it's like, wow, I did not expect it to go in the same exact direction as the first. They just changed some characters, but it was pretty much the same. This movie is about is that instead of Phil being married because he got married in the first one, now this guy, Stu, is gonna get married. And when he is going to get married this time, he wants no bachelor party. He doesn't want any of it. But what happens is that Alan is not even invited in the first place to the wedding because he thinks that Alan's going to do some crazy shit. So, after some convincing by Phil, he invites Alan, and Alan comes along, and he's so happy, but he gets kind of pissed off that Teddy is coming for the ride. Teddy is this Asian guy who is the brother of the person that Stu is marrying. So now, once they get to Thailand, Bradley Cooper is just like, yo, we gotta have at least a beer and just have a bonfire and just talk about things. So he's like, at first he's hesitant, Stu, but then he's like, okay, let's do it. And when they do it, the next morning they wake up and they find out that there's a monkey in the apartment, and not only that, but their friend Teddy is missing. So, it's exactly like the first because Doug was missing in the first, except Doug stayed home. These guys, the three, are together again, but now they gotta find Teddy, a Chinese friend of theirs. As you can see, the story is exactly the same. It just replaced some characters. Instead of Doug being missing, it is now Teddy. And instead of them finding a baby, they find a monkey. So, it's just the same formula, but a lot crazier stuff happens in this movie. I won't say anything because I don't want to give it away, but I would say you should watch this movie just because of the crazy shit that happens in it. And it still is pretty funny, don't get me wrong, but it's not as good as the first because, not that the first is the original, but when the first did it, it was like, it's cool because you're seeing how these guys remember everything. You see that in this one, but it's just not as good as how they did it in the first one. And there wasn't as many things as they did in the first one. But they did do a lot of crazy stuff in this one. And Chow is back, and Leslie Chow is awesome in this movie like he was in the first one. It's also funny because Leslie Chow also gets drunk with them and gets a hangover with them, so he also has fun with them. I would say that even the people that were funny in the first one were funny in the second one. Bradley Cooper was funny. Zach Galifianakis was hilarious again, but his mood kept on changing a lot in this movie, which was weird. And also, Leslie Chow was hilarious in this movie. He was really funny in this movie. And he's always funny in Hangover, I guess. But they should just put him in more movies because this guy can be hilarious. Especially with that accent. He calls people gay, but he sounds gay himself. But it's just so funny.
This is a satchel! It's a puss, okay? And you steal from wrong guy.
Wait a second. Don't let the beard fool you. He's a child.
It's funny because he's fat. Now look. Okay, if it's no big deal, why when I come after you guys, he starts screaming like crazy and throw me in trunk?
Just funny. You know what?
Ah, fuck you. Not so good now. Quid pro quo. Do what you bad. Take nap. Come on. Bring money to Big Rock in Mojave Desert at dawn.
What?
Toodaloo, motherfucker.
Hey, you
Funny fat guy fall on face.
If that's cool.
Of course, dude. That is cool. Gotcha! Now, give me money. Or I shoot him, and I shoot all you motherfuckers. And then we take it. Your choice, bitches. Let him go. What are you talking about, Willis? That him. Not my problem. Right after you suck on these little Chinese nuts.
Oh, that's nasty.
How'd that sound? So long, gay boys.
Now I'm going to rate this movie a 7 out of 10 because I found it entertaining. It was funny to watch. The downfalls were that it was the exact same thing as the first one. It felt exactly like the first one, but the second one was just crazier stuff, and I know that's what people want to see. Is what do they do in this movie? And in this one, they do a lot more crazy shit, I think, than in the first one. But it's just not as funny as the first one. I would still say go watch it if you like the first one, or if you just want to see this movie because it's funny. Trust me, it is pretty funny. It is not as funny as the first. I cannot say this over and over, but it still is pretty funny. So go check out Hangover Part 2, and you will like it most likely, but it's just not as good as the first, no matter what people say. Also, I shot my Pirates of the Caribbean video today, so if you want to check that out, that will be in the link below. That's already been uploaded, obviously. So check out that. It came out the same day as today. I know it's a week late, but I've been super busy. But I'm back. So go watch that review. Tell me what you think about that review in that comments below. And tell me what you think about Hangover Part 2. Are you going to see it? Or do you think that it's not going to be as good as the first, so you're completely going to avoid it? I would say just watch it because it's funny and you're going to see a lot of crazy shit, and them remembering it is hilarious. So go watch Hangover 2 and tell me in the comments below what you think about it. And would you like to see a Hangover 3, even though I don't think there should be one?